Alpha is coming back to Grace Covenant. For those of us familiar with the Alpha course and the wonderful fruit that we've seen it bear, this is exciting news. Raise your hand, if you would, if you've ever been involved with the Alpha course. Okay, decent number. Raise your hand if you know what the Alpha course is. A few more. Okay, and for those of you on the live stream, you can put your hands down now. If you're not familiar with it, Alpha is an 11-week course where people bring friends and they come together to talk through life's big questions. Questions center around faith, life, and God. No questions are out of bounds for Alpha. Participants are encouraged to ask anything. I mean, how else do you learn? And the course makes no assumptions that participants know anything about Christianity. In fact, it was actually designed for skeptics and atheists, but is very well suitable for anybody, no matter where you are in your faith walk. The course begins with the topic, is there more to life than this? And then each week it walks through topics like, who is Jesus? Why did Jesus die? Why and how do I pray? Why and how should I read the Bible? Who's the Holy Spirit, and how can I be filled with the Holy Spirit? You know, back at Central, I had led several groups through Alpha, and I have personally seen both new Christians and lifelong Christians just come alive in their faith. I always described it as sort of a course on the basics of Christianity presented through storytelling, thought-provoking and often humorous stories that and teachings that would be on a video, and then it's followed by facilitated group discussion. We used to do this after a shared meal. However, with the current circumstances with COVID, we're having to adapt to now a virtual method of Alpha. But I am so excited that we're bringing it back to Grace Covenant. You might remember that I mentioned it during the congregational meeting a few months ago. It started with a God sighting. I mean, with Maya and that God sighting, here's a few more. It started with a God sighting that Todd Gilmore, Tom Johnson, and Tim introduced us to Jeff Martinez, works at Idemia, a company right behind Collegium here in the corporate center. And he leads a prayer group over there. Well, it turns out that the senior level officer in his group took the Alpha course online and now is just on fire for the Lord. And when she heard that Jeff was talking to some local church guys here, she started urging him that he would talk to us about Alpha so that we could offer the course and involve the folks in their company there. So, that was God sighting number one. So we've been meeting and planning and praying with our buddy Jeff for a few months now. We've been praying, I shared this at the congregational meeting, we've been praying for the Lord to raise up a leader as the course coordinator. We've been praying about when's the right time to start. And we've been praying for the hearts of those God's going to call to come and see. And of course, we've been praying for volunteers. And God has been answering our prayers. Mm-hmm. We recently welcomed Steve and Lori Hines. That name may sound familiar to a few of you. Steve and Lori Hines used to lead Alpha back at Central when we were there. We just welcomed them to the planning team. Here's another God sighting. Steve and Lori, who attend another local church, they had a passion welling up within them to lead Alpha again. But they had run into a number of closed doors. Then Ron Mitchell from here at Grace Covenant, he heard Tim praying during one of the Thursday prayer meetings that we have every Thursday at noon, is it?
Yeah.
Tim was praying through our Alpha needs in the prayer meeting. Ron heard that. Ron used to be in a small group with Steve and Lori Hines and knew his passion for Alpha. Ron heard from Tim. Tim said, well, talk to Rick. Ron called me, and the rest is history. Another God connection. God connected Steve and I, and it was a great phone call, and God provided on both sides. Mm. Through prayer, we also believe the right timing is to start right after Easter. Easter's on April 4th this year, and we want to start right after Easter, and then we have enough time for this 11-week program to finish up by the end of June, right before things start slowing down for the summer. And God has provided us a few volunteers, but we need a few more. We need you. Tomorrow, I'm going to have Susie in the church office send out an email to everyone. It's going to have a link to the volunteer form. And it's going to have descriptions of some of the help we need. But some of the roles we need to fill, we need group facilitators. We need group helpers. Since we're doing virtual this time, we need group technical support. We need prayer team leaders. We need prayer team members. And if you just want to help out, we need general support to help the planning team get this off the ground. We want to firm up the volunteer groups by the end of January so we can start training in February. There's lots of training involved. It's alpha training. So we can prepare to launch right after Easter. You know, and the last thing I'll say is one of the planning discussions was around how big do we make this? So we're bringing this back. It's been a while. How big do we make it? How many groups do we have? And you know what? Through prayer, we decided we're going to let God decide that. We're getting to let God tell us through how many volunteers he provides. So please, prayerfully consider helping us out with Alpha. I have yet to meet anyone who's ever regretted it.